Looking for your third place? A place where you can find like-minded people with similar interests? Well, look no further. You found it. This is the third place. Welcome to the third place, the podcast that serves as your own personal gathering spot for entertainment, popular culture, and the stories that connect us all. Here, we blend lively discussions about movies, music, and trends with heartfelt conversations about the unique places where our lives unfold. Each week, we invite you to pull up a chair as we explore how our favorite media shapes our experiences and influences the places we call our own. From cherished local haunts to beloved virtual spaces, we dive into the third places that inspire creativity and connection in our everyday lives. So, whether you're commuting, relaxing at home, or hanging out with friends, join us as we create a vibrant community right here. I'm your host, Madison Dravon, and welcome to the third place. Last week, we talked to Delaney Hart about her favorite third places abroad. Be sure to go check out that episode after this. This week, we have some very special guests. There are a couple of travel influencers who have upwards of 62,000 YouTube subscribers, Fain and Laura of Travel Spree. We're going to discuss their travel experiences, some of their third places, and what it takes to make it as a content creator. So, without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to Fain and Laura. All right. Well, Fain and Laura, welcome to the third place. We're very excited to have you. To kick things off, can you each share a little bit about how your journey as travel influencers began and what inspired you to start Travel Spree?
Yeah, so I'm guessing you want me to take this one?
Go for it.
So honestly, it's because of this guy right here.
You always start off with
It
that.
is though. So he used to be a YouTuber on his own, like years before him and I even met. And so it was always like a passion of his.
Yeah.
And so one day he was like, "We're doing this." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So that's essentially how it
Cool
started.
story, bro.
That's essentially how it started. But yeah, I always loved seeing his passion for this type of stuff, and it kind of just translated over, and never something in a million years I thought I would get into, but here we are.
So pretty much I got into YouTube back in 2009, when the OGs, the first YouTube influencers were doing it. I saw that the possibilities, I guess, of it before monetization really was a thing. And then I also went to school for media and film and all that stuff. So I did the YouTube thing on my own, and then I took a break and then came back and said, "Oh, honestly, I can do a lot better than a lot of these people that are doing it right now," because I knew I had the knowledge and the experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so it took a little bit convincing, but yeah, we finally got Laura on board and we just hit the ground running. And I think that helped a lot because I had experience with YouTube before, so I wasn't bumping into as many walls as I was originally.
Yeah, the experience definitely sounds like it helped you.
Yeah.
Well, it's cool that you guys were both into that. It was something you both wanted to do.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I had always been a YouTube watcher. I just had never created content. So
yeah.
So how do you both decide on the destinations and experiences to feature in your videos and on your Instagram?
For us, it's I mean, it can, of course, we want to travel places specifically that we're interested in and that speak to us, but we also want to balance that with what's going to help drive our channel and what's going to help us grow. So definitely kind of trending topics. So for instance, last year we went to Nintendo World opening at Universal. Because that was just that was something up and coming. And I will say Fain is the one who he finds these trending things that I have no idea. He's like, "Oh, this is opening up," or Royal Caribbean has a new ship called Icon of the Seas coming out. I'm just like, "Oh, they do?" So he is the one that kind of finds these things. Yeah. And how do you do you just scrolling? How do you find these things?
But then at the end of the year, travel companies like Expedia and all that put out trending places for the next year. So we look at that, but also, as Laura said, we've done a lot of trial and error when it's come to what videos and what type of content we can make. Because I went to the football game with Kyle, and that video did trash, and that's just because our audience doesn't want to watch football. So it's just been like trial and error, like what we can and cannot post. So our base is always going to be cruising. So it's mainly if we can hit a couple cruises, definitely like tentpole events, where it's just like there's gonna be a lot of eyeballs on it for that specific time. Then we'll hit that destination, and then we've learned. I think in 2021 we were just doing stuff for the audience and not for ourselves, so we kind of got burnt out about it. So now we're trying to sprinkle in. All right, we can do like cruise, but I also want to see Japan this year, so we went to Japan for ourselves.
Yeah,
type of thing. So it's just like trying to like balance that the content and where we want to go and what we need to feed the audience so we don't get burned out.
Yeah, and then we have those flops sometimes that don't work out, and it sucks seeing that, but we find out what doesn't quite work, and then we can take that in the future and figure it out. So it's definitely trial and error on top of that.
Yeah. Well, it definitely sounds like you guys are finding a good balance for like what people will watch, but then also what you guys enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned cruises. So would you guys ever consider doing the whole world cruise that they have going on right now?
Definitely looked at it, like the one that was last year, I guess, or this past year. Because it sounds just like incredible, because that's like the mix of best of both worlds of what we love, like seeing the world and cruising. So, not just cruising the Caribbean, it's like all over. So it's really cool, but it is insanely expensive.
Honestly, like even if we had the money and we had the time, I don't think we would. We originally, when we saw that, we were like, yeah, let's sign up for it, because it is, as Laura said, it's like what we do. But watching what was happening like unfold on there and stuff like that.
There's a lot of drama.
Yeah, I mean, that would have did great for the channel, but after about a month or so, our audience would have tuned out because it would have been the same thing over and over and over again. And we probably would have got burnt out of just like being on the same ship. I mean, we go to the same places on the ship. I mean, different places on the ship, but I feel like that series would have just, I don't think it would have worked well.
It is a long stay. Maybe you would have considered doing like a leg of it or something.
Yeah,
or
I would
like
definitely do a leg.
a few weeks, but I definitely don't think we would ever do the whole thing.
No.
All right. Well, travel influencers face a lot of pressure to showcase only their perfect moments. So, how do you stay authentic to your content? And how do you balance the need to entertain with being genuine?
That is a great question.
No, it's not that hard of an answer. It's like I hate being perfect, honestly.
Oh, well.
To be honest, like I hate, like me personally, I know hate's a very strong word, but when I see the fake influencers that have to like, not the fake, the influencers that have to show like I'm keeping up with the Joneses type thing and stuff like that. I hate seeing that, and we never want to show that on camera. Like if we're having it, we want to be more relatable, like just ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's what we try to implement and try to, instead of showing like, oh, this is like our perfect holiday. Like if we have a bad day, we have a bad day, and we don't highlight drill down into it, but at the same time, it's real. Like the people go through this, and we want to show that as well. But we can also still have fun at the same time.
Yeah, we do still show like I feel like we show like more than some like other channels in general, like the realities of like travel, and like we're not like always like happy go lucky, and unfortunately that can like transfer into like getting comments that are like, oh, you guys are always complaining and all this stuff, which can be frustrating, and I can understand why people might think that, but we literally just, we don't always want to say like, oh, this is wonderful. Like it's sometimes everything's not wonderful, and it's like we're extremely fortunate and love doing what we do, but it's not every day is going to be a good day.
Exactly. And if like the food's not great, we're gonna let you know the food's not great, because you're also spending your money to go on this cruise. If you see what we do and you like it and you think it's gonna be fun, I don't want to lie to you, and you're gonna spend all your hard-earned money to do this and not get the same experience. So we try not to. Sometimes we have to plus it up, but like majority of the time, we just don't. I feel bad for people spending their money.
I don't want to betray anyone's trust.
Exactly.
Like our subscribers' trust. It's just like that's something that we've really built with our audience, and I don't ever want it to be questioned, I guess. Like, oh, they didn't actually like this. They're just like, you know, being typical influencers.
Yeah.
I want people to be able to trust our opinions and feel like we like have their back.
Yeah.
And like on the back end of that, that has also hindered us a little bit when it comes to working with brands because we're not so like what is it?
Corporate?
Corporate, I guess, or polished.
Yeah.
We're more authentic, and because that we haven't been able to like land as many brands as we could with our audience size and like our views and stuff like that because we're not saying everything is great and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that level of trust is so important too, especially in like the field that you guys work in, because people spend so much money to
Yeah.
travel to these
Yeah.
places that they're not gonna they want to make sure the people they're watching, if they go there, it's what they're saying is accurate. And I feel like sometimes you run into influencers who everything's perfect all the
Yeah.
time. And
Yeah.
a lot of the times that's definitely not the case. Um, so after visiting as many amazing places as you have, what's one destination that's left a lasting impact on you and why?
I know what you're gonna say because that's what we talked about in London.
Oh gosh, no, I don't know.
Japan?
Oh, for some reason, yes, I love Japan. Amazing, of course. Like we got engaged there, but there's something about Portugal for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, it was just I don't know. I think it's because it was our first trip together where we like flew a super long distance.
Yeah.
So that made it really special and I hadn't, you know, we had been like cruising so much and like doing all this stuff. So it was like our first like really big like trip together like across an ocean and it just like that was I don't know. It just felt really special to me and um it was just such a cool place that
It's like we have to figure
trying to
everything
just
out.
yeah, I don't know. It's that novelty, I guess, of like, you know, going somewhere like really big for the first time. And it's like I had traveled when I was a kid, but like, you know, my parents did everything. I didn't know what was going on. So it's like as an adult, like going to my first like European country and just like uh, you know, the basic things like everyone there was super nice, the food was incredible, the views were amazing. Like, so yeah, I don't know. There's just something about Portugal for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine would be Japan, but probably the same reason. Um, I mean, the food was amazing. Like I think about it all the time, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's just I think on our since our last trip, we kind of discovered that we're probably going to focus more on countries that don't have English as their first language, and it when we've experienced countries that don't have English as their first language, we feel like we have more of an authentic experience and like
Yeah.
it's not something that we already know or comfortable with. It kind of pushes us out of our comfort zone.
Yeah, because that's the whole point of travel is to like learn about different cultures and not be places that are similar to where you live.
Exactly.
So it's like when we went to England, of course it was amazing, beautiful, but it's, you know, they speak English. It's that's where Americans come from is England. So it's just like I don't know. It wasn't that like different. I love that almost like culture shock of going somewhere
same.
that's extremely different from where you're from.
Same.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, yeah, like the culture is like the most important part of travel and like experiencing the languages and the food and the architecture and like I think that's like my favorite part of traveling too is like seeing finding all the little hole in the wall spots that aren't necessarily like the tourist destinations,
Yeah.
Exactly.
but are definitely like almost better than the tourist destinations that a lot of people hit.
I love a good hole in the wall. That's like my favorite anywhere.
And that's what you do with Porto because it wasn't Lisbon, so like
Yeah.
Porto was smaller, but it was still just enough.
Mm-hmm.
But that's another struggle that we have with like finding places to go is a lot of these big places have a lot of eyes on them, like London, Tokyo, all that, because a lot of people go there all the time. But we also like to go to those hole in walls, but those don't have as many eyes on them, so it's harder to grow by going to those places. But at the same time, it feeds our soul. So like, it's just like a balance of when it comes to getting content and finding places to go. It's like many eyeballs, or like, are we going to be happier? Type of
Yeah.
thing.
Sometimes you have to pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so You guys are constantly exploring new environments. So when you're traveling, how do you identify the places where you feel most at home, the places that make you feel like you're part of the local community or culture?
I don't know, that's kind of a difficult question for me because I feel like I'm not like seeking like home when I
Mhm.
go to try and find these different places. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Do
don't.
you
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, other than it's like we travel to get away and experience something new. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like we kind of find places, but then we don't really interact with them because that's not what we
Yeah, and
want.
it's like I just don't want like familiar. Like me as a person when I'm at home, I like to be like cozy and like have my familiar surroundings and like but like when I'm going to travel, I want to be like outside of that bubble completely. And it's like, I mean, the only example I can think of is sometimes, we're in Tokyo and like I've had enough of like Japanese food. I'm like, I really just want some McDonald's right
Yeah,
now. Like, but it feels taboo, kind of like I shouldn't be going to get McDonald's while I'm here, but like I need that like little bit of home,
yeah. I
I
guess
guess.
that's a
That's
good
the
way to put it.
closest example, like McDonald's, but
Yeah. But I feel like the McDonald's in different countries, they have different menu items, so it's not
exactly. So
as
it's still
familiar.
yeah, it's still unique, but it's a little taste of home, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, so as you guys mentioned earlier this year, you guys got engaged. Congratulations.
You.
And you guys got engaged in Japan. So what made you choose Japan of all places to pop the question?
Laura always. Why do you look at me like that?
Because that's a
You went.
you popped the
I
question, so I
know.
want to hear it.
But no. Laura says she's always wanted to go to Japan, and we booked tickets to go to Japan last year, and then we canceled them because there was something.
There was just too much going on, I feel like.
Yeah, but then I had to I bought the ring already, I think, and I just had to convince her to go. So I finally did that, and I just wanted to make it special because she's always wanted to go to like Asia, like the
Any
Asian.
Asian country,
Yeah,
because that was I'd never been to any type of Asian country, and Japan and China were like
top
top
of
of
the
my
line.
list for me.
Yeah, so I wanted to do it there, make sure I did it there, and then I wanted to be special. I wanted it to be special, so I was looking on Instagram and I saw a lot of photos of people getting proposed to in front of Mount Fuji and all that stuff. So I wanted to do it there. So it's just like this. After that, I was like setting stuff up
Yeah,
and getting that ready. So mainly it's just I want to knock two things off her bucket list. I guess one thing, and then also make it special.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Well, that's awesome. Do you guys foresee yourselves like having a destination wedding then, or something closer to home?
So it's actually going to be close to home. We're doing it in Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, so it'll be a destination for a lot of our friends and family,
Yeah.
but for us, it's not too far.
Yeah. Okay, so looking ahead, do you guys have any specific travel goals or dream destinations on your list for 2025?
Um, Goals, I think we want to get because last year we kind of did a year of like firsts. So it was like our first celebrity cruise, our first time going to Portugal, our first time,
Yeah.
I don't know. There were a lot of firsts. And we want to get back into that next year because it was so fun and exciting doing that.
And it translates into the videos.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see that come across in the videos. So that's kind of a travel goal for next year. What was the other part? Destination?
Any dream destinations?
Oh, do we
I don't know. I don't
I
think we
know,
do.
I don't think we have it's weird. Um, I mean, I know that Fain has always really wanted to go to South Africa.
Yeah. That's probably
So
not gonna happen
I
next
don't
year.
think it's gonna happen next year, but maybe a honeymoon
Maybe.
in 2026.
Or maybe like no, because we can't even do Oktoberfest because we have stuff already planned for then. Yeah, I don't know. It would have to be again in like the end of the year again, but we don't.
I will tell you we are going to Hawaii next year.
Ooh, very nice. A little
Still
closer to
United
but
States, but we've both never been.
Yeah,
So I am really excited about Hawaii. Um, but yeah, we really don't have any
that's weird, right?
big international trips
I
planned next
know.
year, which is really strange, but hopefully that'll
Yeah,
change.
hopefully at least one next year.
all right. And to wrap it up, for listeners who aspire to become travel influencers or content creators, what advice would you give to someone starting out in the industry today?
I would say definitely hit the ground running and get started, because I think that can be the hardest part, is getting started, just like biting the bullet and doing it. Like, saying like, I want to start a channel for like months and months or years. You say, I want to start it. Just start it, hit the ground running, but don't burn yourself out, because I feel like that can be really easy to do.
Oh, 100%. It's mainly comes down to find something that comes easy to you. So like at the time, video editing came easy to me, and I also enjoyed travel, so I put those two together.
Yeah, a natural interest, something that you don't have to force.
Literally anything that comes, like if you like baking cakes and it just seems to come easy and other people don't get it, then bake cakes and all that stuff. But you like literally find that area that just comes easy to you, and honestly just kind of exploit it, because you won't burn out as quickly, and then just find that travel niche that you can.
I don't know if exploit is the right word.
I know, but just like that's the hardest thing, is just finding something.
Use it to your advantage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Use it to your advantage.
So yeah, I think that's much better advice. Don't listen to what I said. But yeah, something that you're naturally passionate about. Don't make it something that you're forcing
and come
yourself
up with
into.
A schedule that you're able to do. Like there's a reason why we only do one video a week. It's because that's what we're comfortable with, we can do. Don't get me wrong, I would love to put out a video every day or 2 to 3 times a week, but I know if I do start doing that within a month or two, I'm going to be tired, and then you're not going to get any videos for like a month.
That's where you can get burnout, is trying to do too much.
So that's literally what I would like. That's really the main advice, is like find something that's easy for you, incorporate into something you want to do, and then find that schedule that you can actually stay constant, because that's what it really comes down. It's just consistency.
Yeah.
Learning from your mistakes, like how we went to the football game. They didn't like that, so we'll never do that again. Just like learning and tweaking, but stay consistent, and that's will help you grow.
Yeah, consistency is number one, I think. You don't have to post every day to grow, but you do need to post on a regular schedule to grow. So consistency, quality over quantity as well.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you so much, you guys. This has been awesome. I really appreciate you guys for coming on.
No problem.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of The Third Place. I hope you enjoyed exploring the intersection of entertainment, culture, and the spaces that shape our lives. And thank you again to Fain and Laura for being here today. And be sure to check them out on YouTube at their channel, Travel Spree, and on Instagram at Travel Spree Official. They have a ton of awesome content for you to consume over there. If you loved what you heard, be sure to subscribe and share this podcast with your friends. I'd love to hear about your own personal third places. Connect with me on Instagram at The Third Place Collective. Remember, the conversation doesn't have to end here. Keep seeking out those special spaces that inspire you, and I'll see you next time for more stories and insights from The Third Place.